What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LetsNot, and welcome back to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Alrighty, guys, so this is going to be, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a rant video. I don't want to call it a rant video, but I feel like anytime you complain about a feature in a game, it's kind of a rant video. But again, I don't want to call it a rant video. So anyway, so what I'm going to do in this video, guys, I'm going to talk about the top 5 things that they've got to fix in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Because honestly, I've been honestly playing Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl quite a bit since it came out. Really been enjoying the games, trying to catch all the Pokemon I can, get up, do some shiny hunting, some chaining, some other fun stuff for you guys on stream. However, there's some serious issues with the game, and we've got to address those issues. We've got to let the developer know about them so they can fix those issues and get those tackled. So without any further ado, let's jump into it with issue number 5. And this one, it's kind of funny. So issue number 5 is people getting stuck. I mean, this is just ridiculous. So especially now with autosave being the default feature in Pokemon games, thank goodness you can still turn that off, which you probably should for many reasons. But anyway, Pokemon games now autosave. And one of the things that's a huge issue right now is there's actually been a couple players getting stuck both inside gyms and in random places. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up this real quick. So if you guys have not seen this yet, A, it's hilarious. But basically what happened is this player got himself stuck in a situation with Veilstone Gym. And then he actually couldn't get out. He couldn't get out of the gym. He tried to go to the ground underground, ended up behind some trainers, and super stuck. But like the thing is, if this was just like a one-off case, I'd understand. But it's not. We also have like another case of this trainer here getting stuck in the snow gym, right? In the ice gym. So like it's more than one person. It's multiple things. And if you kind of look over Reddit, you'll actually find a few cases of people getting themselves soft locked or stuck in the situations. And if like you save or auto save into one of these situations, basically you're stuck. Now, this is obviously a huge issue because if you don't have, an Abra, how you really can't get out of these situations because you can't fly in these gyms. Really, teleport's the only move that's going to get you out. So assuming you don't have online or maybe you haven't made it far enough in the game where you can trade, you basically have to start over your entire game if you find yourself in one of these situations. So ideally, don't get stuck in one of these situations, of course. And if you do, I guess hope you bring an Abra with you. The second thing that I want to talk about is going to be the Great Underground. So you guys know I love the Great Underground. I think it's a lot of fun to go, hit on some stones, farm up some gems, farm up some fossils, do all this other cool stuff. But ultimately, they just missed so many silly little things. The biggest example, in my opinion, is the new hideaway dens, which are a cool thing. You can actually see the Pokemon running around. They don't have overworld shinies, right? So Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee showed us that, hey, we have the technology now for when Pokemon are wandering around to show you whether or not they're shiny, right? And the sprite art, is not all too different. We actually know that Pokemon can follow you, all right? All the sprites are in the game. The shiny sprites are in the game because if you take a shiny Pokemon out and it follows you, it's still shiny. So because of that, the shiny sprites are there. So why not just make overworld shinies? Overworld shinies don't make it all that much easier to shiny hunt. They do definitely make the process a little bit faster, right? Because you can just enter and leave the room to basically shiny hunt those Pokemon. But it doesn't change the odds at all, right? Like just because the shiny can be shiny in the overworld doesn't change the odds of whether or not it's going to be shiny. And the weirdest thing is, like, and we'll talk a little about chaining later, when you're chaining, the grass patches will be shiny. So why the double standard? Why have chaining grass patches be shiny so that you can tell if it's shiny before you encounter it, and then have the overworld shinies in the hideaway dens not be shiny? Like, who decided this? It's silly little mistakes like this that they just need to fix, right? So I'm really hoping that not only this, but everything on this list, Nintendo takes a look at and really decides that maybe we should patch this. Maybe we should add this change, because ideally it shouldn't be too difficult of a change to add. Seeing that they already kind of had that tech available, the sprites are already available, hopefully it can be a pretty quick switch. The next thing I want to talk about too, just in addition to Great Underground, is just the lack of information around base building and just a lack of variety, right? So base building, you really have 2 things you can do. You can build a statue or a shiny statue. That's it, outside of podiums, right? Which are just things to make your statues taller. So, like, overall, I think the Great Underground is so close to being a really cool feature. It just needs a little boost. It needs better shiny hunting methodology. So better shiny hunting as far as resetting the rooms, as well as, giving us that information on whether or not those shiny statues actually do increase shiny rates. Like, giving us that information, and if it's not a feature already, making it a feature, right? So that shiny hunting in the Great Underground is something that you can do, right? Because it's such a cool area, and it would be a real shame to just let it die because there's no end game there, right? And after you've caught all the things in there, if there's no good method to shiny hunting, it really is just going to be kind of dead end game content. So please, 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 ILCA or whoever made this game, because it's not Nintendo, please add that feature in. All right, thing number 3, and this thing just, again, man, it's just a dumb developer choice, and it is shiny chaining with the Pokeradar. So now I'm sure you guys have seen all these YouTubers making all these really cool videos about shiny chaining and how awesome it is. The Pokeradar is the coolest thing ever. Well, yeah, it's one of the better ways to shiny hunt in the game, but it's also super dumb. And the reason I say that it's super dumb is because of this. Right. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Kurt or Cafotics, but basically is a very big data miner in the Pokemon community, goes in, looks at the code, finds out what's happening. So the main thing that I want to talk about here is that even if you do every single thing right when you're hunting with a Pokeradar and chaining, you only have a 93% chance of continuing your chain. What that means is that there will be a 7% chance every time you go up in your chain. So from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, every single time you go up a level in your chain, there will be a 7% chance it breaks if you do everything right. Now, if you do something wrong, obviously you expect your chain to break. But if you do literally every single thing right, you're going to have a 7% chance to break at every level, meaning that you only have about a 5.5% chance around there to actually get up to a 40 chain to get the high shiny rate. If you do everything right. So yes, it's really cool because once you actually get up to a 40 chain, you have like a 1 in 99 chance of finding a shiny, which is incredibly high for the Pokemon series, right? And if you get that chain, obviously just save your game at that chain so you don't ever lose that chain until you find your shiny. But the possibility of not even making it to that because you have that 5% or that 7% chance to fail every time is just so dumb. It's just such a stupid thing. Not only that, they decided to make the curve exponential, meaning that at like a 38 chain, you're still at like 1 in 500 shiny odds or something. And at like a 20 chain, you're still like in the thousands. So if you don't make it all the way up to 40, your odds are pretty bad. Like, yes, they're getting better progressively, but they're getting better really, really slowly because of the way the curve works. It's not just like a linear gets better from 1, 2, 3, 4. It just gets better the same the entire way. No, 40 was really, really good. 10 is really, really bad. So again, shiny chaining is so dumb because of those two things, because you need to have that exponential curve, and because even if you do everything right, you only have a 5% chance or 5.5% chance of actually getting a maximum chain. So obviously, I don't know, man, maybe it's just me, but ILCA and Nintendo, they really got to step up and say, okay, if you do everything right, you should not break your chain, right? Like it takes quite a while to catch 40 Pokemon, and that's assuming you're doing the chaining right with the Pokeradar. So don't punish people for doing the right thing. Like I hate when you arbitrarily punish people for doing the right thing. Like if you break your chain, if you do something wrong, 100% punish them, break the chain. But if you're doing everything right, why are you being punished? Okay. Thing number 2, and this thing is just, again, it's so many little things. Like overall, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is a great game. But they keep making these stupid, silly little choices. Stupid, silly little choice number 2 is the Shiny Charm. So the Shiny Charm, as you guys all know, has been the staple in Pokemon games for a very, very, very long time. And the way that it works is basically once you complete your Pokedex and you talk to the professor, you get a charm that makes shiny Pokemon easier to catch. Now, the way that it does this is it adds 2 extra rolls to your shiny chance, right? And what I mean by that is it's kind of easier to picture like a clock. So a clock's got 12 numbers, right? And let's say if I randomly spin this clock and the clock lands on a 1, that means I get a shiny. And now if I have a shiny charm and I spin that same clock, now I get a shiny if it lands on a 1, a 2, or a 3, right? So it's just taking my odds from 1 in 12 to 3 in 12. Now, obviously, Pokemon don't have a 1 in 12 chance of being shiny. It's about 1 in 4,000, right? So now I still am tripling my odds, but of course it's not quite as good. But still, now instead of having a 1 in 4,000 chance, I've got a 3 in 4,000 chance, which is considerably better because now it's closer to like 1 in 1,367 or something like that, right? Versus 1 in 4,000. It may not seem like a huge change, but it's a huge change, right? And usually that shiny charm stacks with any other shiny methods. In Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it only stacks with breeding, meaning that the only way to get any benefit out of your shiny charm whatsoever is by breeding. So using the Masuda method, which at best will give you odds with the shiny charm about 1 in 500, without the shiny charm about 1 in 600. So still a good way of shiny hunting if you want to go hatch 600 eggs. But a pretty boring way to shiny hunt, man. Masuda method is just, you breed a bunch of eggs, you hatch a bunch of eggs. It's fairly quick, fairly effective, but man, is it boring to just run around and watch eggs hatch. And so the fact that the only way the shiny charm benefits anybody, and it's hard-coded this way, is that if you are breeding, it's just so silly, because in Sword and Shield, for example, if you caught a random Pokemon or you're running into a random Pokemon in the wild, the shiny charm will still work. It will still help you. If you're doing a Dynamax Raid Lair adventure, it will help you, and it will help you a lot, right? So the fact that it only working for breeding in this game, honestly, I think is a bug. I think it's like they just made a mistake. They accidentally didn't apply it to everything else. I think this is just the third party, in this case ILCA, just screwing up, not knowing how the thing worked, and making a silly mistake. So I'm really, really hoping that if any of them get fixed, this is the one that I really expect to get fixed, because shiny charm only working for breeding, it just doesn't make sense, and I do think it was unintentional. So please, please, please prove me right here, ILCA Nintendo. Please fix the shiny charm, because it's just dumb. It's just dumb. It should work on everything. It should not only work on breeding. Why? Why would it only be breeding even? All right. And last but not least, and I'm not going to show any videos for this last one, because I really, really, really don't like cheating on this channel. You guys probably know about this. It's all the duplication. So right now there are at least 2 methods of proven ways to duplicate Pokemon and items, which is ridiculous, man. Like, we have been making, Pokemon games have been being made now for over what, 25 years. Like, they just had the big 25th anniversary celebration, and people are still able to duplicate in a brand new game that just came out. And it's not even that difficult to do. And not only the duplications, but like the other glitches as well, like being able to surf through walls, right? Like all of this stuff that sounds like something you should be able to do in a very old Pokemon game or in a ROM hack, or basically anything that's not an official game that was actually released and play tested. Like, come on, guys. Like, it took, what? The game's been out only now for a couple weeks, and people have already figured out how to duplicate every rare Pokemon they've got. They figured out how to surf through walls to get Shaman. Like, all of these major game-breaking bugs it really saddens me, man. It saddens me because, you know, this is a main game, and this is already coming out so quick. And like, it doesn't even take any hacking software, right? This is just in the game. You can just go do this. So obviously we do expect this to be patched very quickly. With these types of things, usually Nintendo's pretty quick about it, of going in and saying, okay, yeah, duplicating Pokemon, we don't allow that, right? Or, you know, as well as going in and saying, okay, we're just going to fix it so you can't surf through walls, because why would you be able to surf through walls? So yes, these will probably get patched, and yes, Pokemon Home has some ways to stop cloned Pokemon even from getting into Pokemon Home. But overall, silly little oversight. Hopefully they get it fixed soon. I imagine they will. But that rounds out my list, guys. So again, hopefully the video didn't come off too ranty. I told you guys, anytime you're going to talk about things you don't like in a video game, it's going to come off a little ranty. But those are my top 5 things that they need to fix just to make this game better. I think this game is already good. I think this game has a lot of potential, but I think these little things, you know, it's just these bad decisions, right, really do hold them back. Because again, if Overworld shinies were in the Great Underground or the Grand Underground right now, I guarantee you, I and a bunch of other players would be grinding that Grand Underground, looking for those shinies. If we had more information about what shiny statues did, if they do or if they don't, just even knowing that guaranteed for sure would make the Grand Underground like the hottest place to be online right now, because everybody would be trying to farm statues and get shiny Pokemon, overworld shinies. It would be such a cool place to experience with other players, and such a fun end game opportunity. It'd be like one of the only end game shiny hunting opportunities that you could do online with other people, because usually shiny hunting is a single player thing, right? So being able to incorporate shiny hunting into the Grand Underground, the Great Underground, would be so much fun, because with shiny hunting, overworld shinies, it would be a cool experience that everybody could do together. But instead, they make these choices that anyway, no need to beat the dead horse. But that's it, guys. That's what I've got for my top 5 things that I think they really need to fix. The top 5 mistakes they made in just the design and the implementation of Diamond and Pearl. But let me know what you guys think. Did I miss anything? Or do you guys think there's a bigger issue that I didn't cover? Or something else that you would like to see changed immediately? Let me know in the comments, guys. And as always, thank you guys for hanging out with me. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.